Holy tzaddikim and tzaddikot. Hope everybody's doing great. Mishinichnas Adar Marbim Simcha Baruch Hashem. We are in Adar. We are excited, and as the days of Adar continue to come in, we should continue to be blessed with happiness, with true joy and connection to Hashem. Okay, this week's parsha speaks largely about the Bigdei Kehuna, the special clothing that the Kohanim and the Kohen Gadol would wear when they were do their service inside of the Mishkan or later on inside of the Beit HaMikdash. And there's a lot of psukim, a lot of Torah verses dedicated to this. Really, I think the question we have to ask is, who cares? Tell me about the service in the Beit HaMikdash, that matters. Even though it's hard for me to understand in 2022, it matters, and I know it matters, but so much about the clothing, like the details of the clothing, why does it matter? The clothing and all the different types of clothing and special and the gold and the white, who cares? And so I think sometimes we underrate the power of clothing, right? And the impact that clothing actually has on our lives. Now, from a basic level, what is the job of clothing? It's just to cover us. Maybe you can say to keep us warm, right? Or to keep us cool in the summer, but it's really to cover us up. But when you think about it, clothing is obviously so much more than to cover us, because we wear different clothing for different occasions. When we're ready to go to bed, we put on pajamas, and for some people, it's flannel pajamas and shorts and a t-shirt and all different things. And when you think about it, what it does is clothing has a huge impact on our moods, on our attitudes, and on the way we view ourselves. When we put on those pajamas, we literally turn into sleep mode. On a recent flight, I was actually blessed. Thank God, I will thank my father-in-law publicly. I was blessed. I got an upgrade. Okay, so I was sitting in the fancy seats. And the fancy seats on the plane, they offer you pajamas. Why can't I just sleep in my clothing? What's the difference? When you put on pajamas, it turns your entire body, your mind, your psyche into sleep mode. It's actually easier to sleep, not just from a comfort level, but just from a psychological level. Okay, now I know I'm ready for sleeping. I remember from the dorms, when we used to live in the dorms, all you alumni can remember this, in the men's dorms. Okay, we'll make sure we keep this rated G, but on certain nights of the week, sometimes maybe Thursday night, maybe Saturday night, some of the guys would put on certain types of clothing, maybe like a tight black t-shirt or some tight jeans and ripped jeans with a necklace or something like that. They would transform into a different mode. It was Thursday night mode, if you get what I'm saying. And once that clothing actually went on, they became different. You're actually a different person, right? You didn't even have to go to those maybe not such great places to be in that mode. All it takes is the change of clothing. Tzaddikim and tzaddikot, we cannot underestimate the power of the clothes that we wear. We know that when we're going for a big job interview, you should look your best, dress professional, right? And when you put those clothes on, you feel more professional, right? When you're in this lazy type mood and you put on the sweatpants and the sweatshirt, right? It gives off that vibe for you. Tzaddikim and tzaddikot, it's true for holiness and, God forbid, unholiness as well. When we put on clothing that are dignified, that are matim, that are worthy of a tzaddik, of a tzaddiket, you feel holier, right? I can't tell you how over the years how many of the tzaddikot have said I put on a skirt, I put on this, and I actually felt I felt it. And for guys, they're I dress dignified. I put on a nice clothing. I didn't dress like a bum. You feel it. You literally feel the part. It's not fake. It's so real. So real, the impact that the clothing has on us. And when we understand this, here's the key: when we understand this, we can use our clothing as a tool to help us grow. When we put on the clothing that is worthy of the person that we want to be, it's easier for us to become like that person. You want to feel like a tzaddik, you want to feel like a tzaddiket? Start a little bit even, just a little bit, dressing like one. It's amazing what it can do for you, right? Mentally. Try it. If you don't trust me, just give it a shot. Dress the part, dress the way you want to feel, you want to look, you want to express yourself. It's an expression of what you want and what you want to be. And if you do that, it can absolutely help you feel more close to Hashem. And God forbid, I don't even want to say it, but we know it's true. When we dress the opposite, when we dress in ways that are not worthy of a tzaddik or a tzaddiket, the type of clothing that we wear, the amount of skin that's being shown, it also transforms our mentality into a lower level of holiness, a lower level of connection. God forbid. Tzaddikim and tzaddikot, use this tool. Use it to your advantage. Dress like the tzaddik and the tzaddiket that you are. Use the concept of clothing to elevate ourselves to be our best. Wishing all of the holy tzaddikim and tzaddikot a Shabbat Shalom. Let me just add one more point. I forgot this. You're not defined by your clothing, because maybe this wasn't clear. You are not defined by your clothing. You're not a bum because you dress a certain way. You're not a tzaddik because you dress a certain way. Just because you put on black and white, just because you put on a long skirt, that doesn't make you a tzaddik. It doesn't make you a tzaddiket. So let me be very clear about that. However, it is a tool, and it can help you feel, like much more natural to do holy things when you're dressed in a more dignified way. So I just to make sure I'm not misunderstood. Okay, it doesn't make the person. The clothing doesn't control you. You can be the biggest tzaddik in the world and not dress a certain way, and be the biggest tzaddik in the world and not express that. But there's no doubt that the expression with the clothing absolutely plays a part. So that being said, use it for your benefit. Wishing all the holy tzaddikim and tzaddikot Shabbat Shalom.